How'd you do?
Good work. That's what you did.
I was a part of that.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
Oh God.
You want to bet just 10 people. But then
We
like
are
a full
only
group.
betting. We have 10. We have one.
You have four boys. You have four boys, so you shouldn't need to go 3 girls back to back to back.
Alright. Let's do a little bit.
Girl, guy.
We got somebody.
We have 2 girls
Who just won, Jesse?
going in a row, and we have an automatic. It's an automatic.
Next inning, yes. Next inning, you don't have to take it. Okay. But I still need a guy to back.
Coordinator for intramural sports and summer camp. This will be, I'm just finishing up my 2nd year, so I was hired in June of 2010. You'll probably hear this from a lot of people, but I grew up with sports, something that I enjoyed doing. I actually was a psychology major for my undergrad, and I got into intramural sports, started out as an official, and just worked my way up and figured I could do this for a living. And it's nice to come into work and be able to do something that you enjoy. It's a very good question. The co-ed rules that we have here were kind of in place before I came here. We look over the rules from season to season, and if we see that there's a discrepancy or something's shifted too much one way or the other, that's when we actually change them. For softball in particular, those were the rules that were here when I got here.
Women in sports, this.
No, yeah.
My spot was hijacked.
Bat.
You have our batting order?
Yep, Ethan is batting first, just to let you guys know. Ethan is the batter. Ethan's the batter.
Who's on deck? Shada, you're on deck.
Shayna, get on the deck.
Switch in with me.
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, that's fine.
The guy-girl rule was horrible.
The co-ed rules for the softball team, softball league we just played in, have some funny rules about how they're very specific about how there has to be men, women spread out in the field and in the batting order, and something about if a man takes a walk, the woman who bats after her can take a walk also, which is weird. I don't really understand that.
The batting order in co-ed is always, it alternates guy, girl, guy, girl. So if a player walks a guy, by rule, the next batter, which is a female, also gets to take a base.
The rules assume the women can't play as well, which is a problem.
We had a couple good people, but even if they're good, they're not as good as the guy on your team for some reason.
I think it helps, it helps it to a point. The fact that you can have more girls than guys, but not more guys than girls can be tricky, but at the same time, you also think that guys are bigger, more powerful, that girls will get hurt, possibly too.
And then
It was a pain in the ass, so I do remember that.
Yeah.
But is it fair? I guess it's fair. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
if you said guys are better, do you think
they
that's
have to
fair?
give you rules. If guy girl is, I mean, it's probably how it goes
Yeah.
on a playground.
I'm pissed.
One of the co-ed rules that we did change was for basketball. We previously If you're familiar with basketball, the key, only females were allowed in the key the year before, or my first year here, and then we actually changed that this year to include everyone. That's actually a new subject that's gaining more, I wouldn't say interest, but a lot of people in our field are starting to include more rules for those players. Yeah, it's actually something that we're looking into for next season. We realized that, and this is across intramural sports across the country, that the female participation in intramural sports is, a fraction of male participation, and it depends kind of on what college it is and percentages. But we realized that a lot of our female participants, they come in and they try to play in a certain league, and a lot of times, since there aren't enough women's teams, that we have to cancel that. So one rule that I'm looking into for next year is changing the men's league to an independent league, and that way you could have female players playing with men and it not be co-ed with co-ed rules. It would just be generic rules.
Well, I think I would go to that kind of thing, but I don't think that the culture is set up for it.
I think professional sports could do the co-ed with all the politics involved. I really don't think that would ever fly in America.
Let's go, Jesse!
We could, like they did last week, we could just take all the pitches and get on base. Is this a video?
Yeah.
Good.
Recording?
No, yeah.
We are a very different kind of team.
Yeah, we got better.